Hello, we're back. The book, I have to put it close because the text. And it's basically the vision of Robert F. Kennedy. This is the father, not the one that's running for president now. I like to do these to show you what could have been because we're at crossroads all the time and we're at a crossroads now. Next week we're going to be doing classes on this book, Raising Confident Black Kids. I saw this in the library on their display stand. I was waiting for my American Sign Language class to start and walk around to see if there's anything interesting. And I saw this, flip through it, pick that up. But this is actually the wrong day to be doing this. This is last night, but I'm gonna do this and one more tomorrow. That'll probably be behind the paywall though. The website's coming along. It's live. You can see it, and you can see it as it grows. I'm growing, putting more stuff on, organizing it, making it better and better. Betterer. Let's get into it. You knew that what is given or granted can be taken away, that what is begged can be refused, but that what is earned is kept. People can still take what you earn. That what is self-made is inalienable. That what you do for yourselves and for your children can never be taken away. This is how bad we've gotten. People are taking from people all the time. There's wage theft that goes on in a lot of these stores. They talk about a lot in McDonald's and the fast food places do it the most or have so even what you earn, people can take. Oliver Wendell Holmes says, as life is action and passion, it is required of a man that he should share the passion and action of his time, at peril of being judged not to have lived. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, these are all people who influence RFK. Action is with the scholar subordinate, but it is essential. Without it, he is not yet man. Without it, the thought can never ripen into truth. And of course, now we would say not yet human. It's a lot of that in these texts. Man. It's, what do you call it, patriarchy. It's chauvinism. But it's not really natural to our culture, right? Most indigenous cultures are very matriarchal. You come through your mother. So it is simple to follow the easy and familiar path of personal ambition and private gain. It is more comfortable to sit content in the easy approval of friends and of neighbors than to risk the friction and controversy that comes with public affairs. I make these videos public. Hardly anybody watches them, even though I know they're good. And people say, well, damn, man, how long are you going to do this? I'm going to do it because it's what I'm supposed to do. Remember, you work for two reasons. To solve a problem. I'm educating people, I'm trying to encourage thinking. There's a lot of thoughtlessness. That's a problem. 2, to master your skills. The more I do it, the better I get. And if you read, you must read on a regular basis. Daniel Webster, there is always room at the top. Yes, there is. Let's go to another section here. This book, we jump around. This section is on freedom, because freedom is important. We need that. People don't even desire it anymore, and it's weird. It freaks me out. No citizen can escape from freedom and still enjoy it. Goethe says he only earns his freedom and existence who daily conquers them anew. Must keep fighting for it. Don't wait. One bill has been signed, one law has been signed, a civil war has been fought. You have to keep fighting. We know that if one man's rights are denied, the rights of all are endangered. We already know that. We're living in it. Freedom means not only the opportunity to know, but the will to know. And so many people have lost their will to know things. They're like, what's the point? The system pays me, especially in the black community, it pays me to be pathological. It pays me to be ignorant. It pays me to be less. So I'm going to have my fun, get my money, stabilize my life materially, and I don't need to grow or expand or do it. Like, who cares? That's not putting no food in my mouth and no roof over my head. That's what our community thinks like. It's not freedom. And you can live like that, I guess, but you're not free. But the weird paradox is, I guess you are, because you're still choosing to be surrender your freedom. So I guess at the end of the day, it's still a kind of freedom, even though you're giving it up all the time. You're not fighting to keep it. Thomas Paine once said that no man or country can be really free unless all men in all countries are free. All men in all countries. Imagine having a president that understands that we are a nation among nations, right? Or even we are an empire among nations. What is Cornel West always saying? We need to be a nation among nations, not an empire. Some people don't think he goes far enough with that, but I'm not sure you can be anything less than a nation at this point. Does anybody know how to be anything? Does anybody really know how to reach a level of consciousness where you don't need nations and borders? Boy, that's a high level. And a lot of people, it's not enough for 1 million people to reach it, or 300,000 when you're in a country of 320 million. You would need at least 160 million people to reach high level consciousness. And you know, and I know, in the United States, you ain't got nowhere near that. Nowhere near. If you got 1 million, I'd be shocked. I know I only got on this channel, I think it's been going up lately, 759 subscribers. And that's free. That don't cost anybody anything. On my other channel, I've been using it. YouTube is telling me I should use it. And I think I have 300 and something. So I have 1,000 subscribers on both channels. And I'm high level conscious. So that's 1,000 people. So in my mind, that's how many. Now I know a lot of people don't know me. It's YouTube. It's a big, vast space. So, but I think I should be getting more than 1,000 in 2 channels. Freedom is not money. This is very crucial. This is very key. That I could enlarge mine by taking yours. Our liberty can grow only when the liberties of all our fellow men and secure, and he who would enslave others ends only by chaining himself. We still in that situation. For chains have 2 ends, and he who holds the chain is as securely bound as he whom it holds. And as President Kennedy said at the Berlin Wall in 1963, freedom is indivisible, and when one man is enslaved, all are not free. You see that? So when people are funding our pathology and allowing pathology to go out in the world, what they're allowing is other people to see, oh, pathology can function. And then it spins and it grows. So instead of expanding our minds, pathology is expanding. That's the United States of 2024. That's why we can't get anywhere. But imagine having a president like this. If he would have become president instead of Nixon, could you imagine? It's good to imagine sometimes, because you see, we have choices. We could go with the 2 corporate people, but you got 3 other three other candidates. You have your Jill Stein, you have your De La Cruz, and you have Cornel West. So now you ask yourself, people are going to vote for one of those two maniacs, genocidal funding maniacs. Are we going to be, is somebody going to be reading 20 years from now Claudia De La Cruz's thoughts or Cornel West's thoughts or Jill Stein's thoughts and say, damn, man, imagine if they would have voted for them, if they would have voted for them instead of Trump or Harris? Will we be here 30 years from now if you vote for one of the maniacs? Because I can tell you now, the empire is disintegrating. You know it. I know it. All the stuff we see online that we think is funny, is wild, is crazy, it's mental decline, mental deficiency, zombie state mentality in the masses. Albert Camus, the contention was that we needed justice first and that we would come to freedom later, as if slaves could ever hope to achieve justice. And forceful intellectuals announced to the worker that bread alone interested him rather than freedom, as if the worker didn't know that his bread depends in part on his freedom. And I keep looking at all of these immigrants who are laying all over the streets, and I'm wondering, should you have stayed home and driven the empire out of your land instead of saying, hey, the empire is in my land, destroying it, so I'm going to go into the belly of the empire and get what I can? That's what we're doing. That's what's happening. But they're finding out there's nothing here for them. The disintegration is rotting like all other empires from the inside out. So some immigrants I've heard on the news say they're going back home. That's not what they thought. But I just see more and more of them. And today, the supermarket that I go to, been going to since I've been here in Jamaica, Queens. Today, a lot of the food was open and stuff was eaten out of it. And there's a lot of African immigrants that hang in front of this supermarket now. This has been happening the last month or two. And they try to help people to their car or whatever the case may be. But now they're starting to hang inside the supermarket. So you go through a door, there's a section, and then next door you go in the supermarket. Like when you go into Target, there's a little space between the two doors. They're starting to hang in there instead of on the sidewalk. So I'm sure by the next time I go back, they'll make them go on the sidewalk, and they'll probably try to force them, because there's a Home Depot across the street, so they'll probably just force them across the street. And in the Home Depot across the street, they have to force them out of the parking lot, lock up the bathrooms from the customers, because the migrants will come in and use it. So this is the problem. And there's a precinct right down the street from where all this is happening. And police don't seem to care. Now, I'm not sure how long this can keep going. And there's a lot of, I hear little statements when I pass people in the street, citizens. Man, look at these people. They get cards, they get food cards, they get this, they get that. They come here and they get that. And I'm hearing it just in conversation, passing. People talking to each other. You walk past and you hear it. I think, was it yesterday? I walked past a guy and he was talking to himself. These fucking immigrants, man, get everything. And he didn't realize he was talking out loud. And I'm like, man, this is a powder keg, man. So we'll see what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting. But when you're voting for mayor, city council, governor, vote for thoughtful people. Vote for visionaries. Because empires collapse, but that don't mean that we die. Roman Empire collapsed into different states. So, New York could be its own country. Texas could be its own country. South Carolina could be its own country. This empire could break apart that much. And I want you to think about that. Think about the state you live in. And if it became its own nation, would you want to stay there? That's the question. Support the links. Try to stay safe. Try to take care. And I'll see you in the next video if I'm still around.